promised, I did make a Regency dress inspired by the Bridgerton TV show. Go ahead and show it off a little bit here. This was quite a journey. I really wanted to sew a Lutterloh pattern and couldn't find any. And so I bought a butterick pattern on Etsy, actually, the 6630. This pattern right here. And the video clip following this one will show you how much fun I had with the pattern. I just took the pattern out of the packet, and my anxiety is already through the roof because I kind of forgot how you have all these sizes. Like, I ordered the larger sizes with 12 through 18 sizes because I'm usually a 12 or 14 with patterns, and just so much, and almost none of it's for me. I have on accident cut out an entire wrong pattern before, which is why I don't like regular patterns. So here we go. So you can see I wasn't exactly enjoying myself, and through this process I stumbled upon the fact that there is a private Lutterloh Facebook group. I do wish I had found out about this sooner. I would have bought the Lutterloh Golden Rule System with much more confidence when I first started researching this product. There's not a lot of videos about it. There's not a lot of content. You don't get to see a lot of people making outfits or garments with this. And then I found the Facebook group, and it's private. You have to say that you do own this Lutterloh system. But once I was there, it was so welcoming, so wonderful. I made a post saying I was hoping to sew Regency dress, and I got multiple replies back. They were all very helpful, very useful. And one person even emailed me a scanned copy of the pattern I did end up using, and I was just floored. That was so nice. I was so grateful. They didn't have to do that, and I just love it. I love the Lutterloh private group. I just wish it were advertised better because I think that would help give a lot more confidence to people to buy the product, knowing that resource exists. And then at the end of my first week, they had a big post about welcome all the new members. It was just really great. It felt like a really amazing community. I love the Facebook group. I love to see what other people are making. I love posting what I've made. It's just really wonderful, really lovely. And so that's how I end up getting the pattern for the dress I did make. I stayed with this style because I had already purchased everything that went with this style. As you can see, the sleeves are the same. The bust is mostly the same. But the pattern is different. And I really do like this pattern that I was given. Still feel really grateful to even have had it. And now I've sewn it, and that's just an amazing feeling. And so here's the rest of the sewing journey of how I made this dress and the modifications I made. I've created my pattern pieces. I've sewn my bodice mock-up. I'm ready to cut fabric. I forgot to wash my fabric. Now we wait. Now that the fabric has been washed, I'm ready to iron and cut out the pattern pieces. Here we go. I just finished sewing the mock-up of the bodice from the pattern pieces. I do generally like the fit. I do think it's a little too big, but I am sewing a lining and doing that whole inside out thing. I think once I do that, it'll be a little bit tighter. Well, before I got this Lutterloh pattern, I was able to make the mock-up of the bodice from, what is this? The butterick pattern. And I did find it to be a little too small for my bust. I think according to the picture, this is actually correct. Like, this is where they want it to lay. But for me, it's just a little too short. I think I'm going to draw it down to here a little bit. But that's just me. And so I think that's the modifications I'll be making, is just cutting off the bodice right here. So I cut the bodice short where I predicted I would like it. I sewed a mock-up skirt, and I'm really liking the look. I like how it lays. I'm getting very excited. So far, so good. So for the sleeves, I am going to follow the pattern instructions. I think this is a really good idea to go ahead and sew the lace or the trim on before I gather it. I wouldn't have thought of that, but like, duh. And also, I've never sewn a sleeve stay before, and so I like this instruction to tell me to basically sew along the creases and space together. So yeah. I got a ring light. So far with the sleeve, I have gathered the top of the sleeve and I sewed the gathered stay inside of the sleeve, and this is the result of that. And something that I do a little differently than what I've seen online is, instead of closing the bodice front and back together and then sewing the sleeve together and then sewing it all together, I choose to keep it open, and then I just lay the sleeve in like this and sew it this way, and then I close it all together. Just want to clarify that you do want to sew the right sides together, and so once you do that, you can pop it over and you'll get something like this. So I've finished the sleeves. You can see, just put the cap on the bottom. They're bigger than I realized they would be, but they're so cute. Love them. It's very Cinderella vibes with the white and the blue, but I'm very happy with the bodice and the sleeves so far. Now to attach the skirt. All right, this is where I'm at with the dress. I sewed the skirt on, and you can see there's a big gap between the ends of the bodice, and in the original pattern we have those squiggle lines, which means it's supposed to be gathered. And so what I'm going to do, there's a certain kind of gathering that I saw on the Bridgerton show where they gathered it like this instead of like pulling the thread like a gather pull. Just gather it in pleats. That's the word I'm looking for, pleating. So that's the technique I'm going to use, and I'm going to pleat it until these two meet together. All right, in the 5 minutes of attempting to pleat this extra fabric together, I realized that when I'd be all done, it would be quite ugly. So I'm going to seam rip the back part, the bodice away from the skirt, and pleat the whole thing until these sides come together, and I think that will be much prettier. So we'll see. Much better. So it's all pushed together. I love the pleating. I think it's going to look gorgeous. It's pulled the bodice together enough to put a zipper in. Love it, love it, love it. Hi, as you can see, I chose to not do a zipper. I did these eyelets instead, and I'm happy with that choice. I've never done this before where you hammer the eyelets into the fabric, and it is a bit intimidating, but I was happy to learn the process and the technique. I'm happy I did it this way. I like the look. I like the fit of it. I think I could have made them a little wider apart to make the bodice even tighter. But overall, I enjoy the look and the process. And once again, don't be afraid of trying a new technique. Always try to find a YouTube video. I found the instructions on the back of the box to actually be pretty good. So a close-up view this is what I did instead of the zipper. So for a recap on the modifications I made to the original pattern, I cut the bodice shorter. The bodice was originally way down here, cut it here to have a more of that Regency era look. I also gave myself 3 extra inches on the bottom because I cut the bodice short, the fabric was going to be pulled up to meet the bodice. And so I wanted to still have the full length of a Regency dress, so I added 3 inches to the bottom of the pattern. And then for the back, originally for this pattern, it's supposed to be more of, I think, a 1950s style skirt. And so there was a bunch of extra fabric and you're supposed to gather it, but instead I chose to do a lot of pleats. And so I opened I seam ripped this out and pleated the whole back and then sewed the back of the bodice to the skirt that way. And also, instead of a zipper like the original pattern, I did these eyelets and the lacing through with ribbon. So those are the modifications. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're interested in more Lutterloh content, go ahead and click like and subscribe. This channel is mostly dedicated to Lutterloh patterns. I'm still figuring it out for myself, but I'm really enjoying every step of the way. I'd love to have you here with me. So my next video is going to be an unboxing of what a brand new Lutterloh kit looks like. And then my next pattern, I do plan on sewing a fleece jacket with 0 modifications. I've always modified the patterns that I've made with Lutterloh and be interested in seeing what a non-modified pattern looks like. And it's like a little Valentine's Day present to myself because I really do need a new fleece jacket. And then after that, a little St. Patrick's Day dress. So stay tuned, like and subscribe. I'd love to have you here. Thanks and have a good day, everyone.